Hello, welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you were watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I've got some breaking news coming out from the Gaza Strip to share with you. We've got reports that Israel has ordered evacuations on the northern side of the Gaza Strip in Gaza City, that many neighborhoods are being evacuated right now as Israeli tanks are starting to roll back into central Gaza. And we know that the IDF was planning to move back into Khan Yunis, which was more on the southern side of the Gaza Strip, but now they're starting to move in on the northern side as well. And let me note here, too, that these are areas that Israel originally combed through already, okay? They've already been through Gaza City towards the beginning of this war. Now they're starting to have to go back to these areas again because Hamas is starting to reappear in these areas. So there's been lots of attacks coming from the Gaza City area and also Khan Yunis. We just did that report just about a week ago that there was rockets fired from Khan Yunis towards Israel. Okay, so that means that Hamas is still there. They still have these capabilities to fire these rockets, and that's why Israel's starting to have to move back into these areas. So it looks like the IDF is starting to have to circle back around again. And, as they started from the northern side of the Gaza Strip and they worked their way south all the way to Rafah, now that we know that the war is kind of limited in terms of military action inside of Rafah, we now know that the IDF is starting to move back towards the northern side and also the central side of Gaza again. So this is possibly indicating here that their strategy is not working well, and I've been talking a lot about this, that they originally were starting to try to work their way from the north and then comb through all the way to the south. But clearly, Hamas was able to find their way back to the northern side, and then now there's attacks happening over there again. So that's why the IDF is starting to have to come back over here. So they were dropping bombs and artillery inside of Gaza City just yesterday. Gaza authorities were saying that dozens of people were being killed. It's just mass chaos, people running all over the place. They don't know where to go. There was even some reports here stating that people they didn't know which direction to run to, and they said they could either run towards the ocean, which that was either the sea, there's nowhere to go there, and then they couldn't run towards the tanks because that's where the tanks are coming from. So apparently there's been chaos here in the Gaza City part of the Gaza Strip here once again. So we're going to talk about this story a little bit. I've got this pulled up here for you on Reuters. So let's take a look at this. Israel orders residents to evacuate as tanks storm Gaza City district. So this just coming out today. And it says here, Israeli tanks advance into the heart of Gaza City from different directions on Monday, and Israel ordered Palestinian civilians to evacuate neighborhoods after a night of bombardments, which Gaza authorities said had killed dozens. Residents said the airstrikes and artillery barrages, which took place as multinational negotiations for a ceasefire deal intensified, were among the heaviest attacks on the Gaza Strip in 9 months of conflict between Israeli forces and Hamas militants. Gaza City, in the north of the Palestinian enclave, was one of the first areas that Israeli troops moved into in the start of the war, but fighting with militants still holding out there has persisted, and civilians have sought shelter elsewhere. Adding to multiple waves of displacement, much of the city lies in ruins. Residents said neighborhoods of Gaza City have been bombed throughout the night into the early morning hours. Several multi-story buildings have been destroyed, they said. The Gaza Civil Emergency Service said it believed dozens of people were killed, but emergency teams were unable to reach them because of ongoing offensives in Daraj and Tufah in the east and Tel al-Hawa, Sabra, and Ramal further west. Gaza residents said tanks advanced from at least 3 directions on Monday and reached the heart of Gaza City, backed by heavy Israeli fire from the air and the ground. That forced thousands of people out of their homes to look for safer shelter, which for many was impossible to find, and some slept on the roadside. One tank thrust pushed people towards the western road near the Mediterranean, residents said. The enemy is behind us and the sea is in front of us. Where will we go? Said Abdel Ghani, a Gaza City resident who did not give his full name. Tank shells and missiles from planes are falling on the roads and houses like hell from a volcano. People are running in all directions and no one knows where to go, Abdel Ghani told Reuters via a chat app. So clearly massive chaos here happening inside the Gaza Strip. And these are areas that were for the most part relatively quiet for a while now, as people started to leave Rafah and started to move back towards the northern side of the Gaza Strip. Now we're having Hamas reappear in these areas. There's more attacks happening here. Now the IDF is deciding to move back in and engage with Hamas in these areas because their strategy obviously failed. They were trying again to move from the north side, comb through all the way to the south. And then once they got into Rafah, that's when we started to hear that Hamas was reappearing in different parts of the Gaza Strip, on the northern side, also in Khan Yunis. So clearly, what we're hearing from these reports is that this is definitely going to take a very long time for this to finish up down here in the Gaza Strip. If Benjamin Netanyahu really wants to make sure they completely eliminate Hamas, they're going to be fighting down here for a very long time, because it's kind of like a cat and mouse game, is what it seems like to me. As they comb through, work their way to the south, and then now they're going back to these areas where they have previously already been through. So clearly, either they moved too quickly and they weren't able to comb through as carefully as they possibly could, or somehow Hamas was able to find their way back over here. Maybe there were some tunnels that were not found, and Hamas was able to move from the south back up to the north side, and now it's causing the IDF to have to move back towards the north again as well and engage with them. So it says here as well, the Israeli military said in a statement it was mounting an operation against militant infrastructure in the Gaza Strip, and that it had taken more than 30 fighters out of action. Later on Monday, it issued new evacuation orders to the residents of Sabra, Rimal, Tel al-Hawa, and Daraj districts. For your security, you must evacuate immediately to Deir al-Balah shelters in the humanitarian zone, it said in a social media post referring to an area in central Gaza. Okay, so it looks like they're trying to get them away from the northern part of Gaza, which is kind of where Gaza City is at, move them further south again. And it looks like, again, that Israel's just going to have to keep doing this. They're going to have to keep going back and forth. And this war is just going to continue on for a very long time. So there is more information in this article. If you guys want to read it more, I will cite it down below and you can all check it out. But based on what we're seeing here in the Gaza Strip, this war is not going well for Israel. And they continuously keep coming out and saying that they're going to wind down their operations. But at the same time, we're seeing new operations breaking out where Israel's starting to move back into the northern side of Gaza now. So very interesting what we're seeing in this war. I'm still waiting to see what's going to happen with this whole negotiations on a ceasefire deal. I did hear that Hamas was still waiting for more responses coming from the Israeli government. That the Israeli government, we had Benjamin Netanyahu come out yesterday, and he stated that they were only going to accept any kind of a deal that would allow the fighting to resume in the Gaza Strip. Okay, so they will agree to probably some sort of temporary ceasefire, but they do not want to agree to any permanent ceasefire. So we know that for sure Benjamin Netanyahu wants to continue the fighting here in Gaza, and we've been hearing multiple reports from different commanders in the IDF that are stating that this war could take years, okay, potentially up to 5 years. I think even somebody in the Israeli government had stated that too, okay? So it looks like this is going to continue for a while now, and this is going to get us closer to a potential war with Hezbollah if Israel does not come to some sort of ceasefire agreement with Hamas at some point soon. Either that, or they're going to have to continue to try to push Hezbollah back and fend off these attacks in the north, because they still got major problems up there where many displaced Israelis cannot return to their homes. But definitely a lot of issues over here in this area with Gaza and Israel and Hezbollah. So I just want to give you a quick update on what's going on down here in Gaza City. Looks like Israel's going to be moving back into Gaza City on the northern side of the Gaza Strip, and evacuations have been ordered in these areas. So let me know what you think down below. Share your thoughts, concerns, and opinions down in the comment section. That's going to be it for this update. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless. And we'll see you in the next one.